Okay, so we're hopefully going to keep this to about 20 minutes, and then we'll have a coffee club. Hopefully, have about 40 minutes of coffee club. Okay. So just a few housekeeping rules, housekeeping information. If everyone can keep their mics muted, keep your videos on. Actually, I don't know why it says videos turned off. Videos on is fine. Use the chat, comment, stick up your hand if you want to say anything. And we'll be recording it, and then we'll be uploading the recording onto the website as well for those who can't make it. Okay, so firstly, I just want to start with the birthday celebration announcement. TAFSIG is 2 years old, not the day, but it was around this time 2 years ago that that Bali put the call out for new SIGs, and the committee and the membership was formed. So happy birthday to TAFSIG, one and all. Thank you to everyone here today who's been a part in helping us do the great work that we've been doing. So today, what we're going to be doing today, we're going to start just with a meeting of the committee. I think we've got most of our committee members here. I've not seen Sam yet, but we're each going to introduce ourselves a little bit. I'm going to update on the membership of the SIG. Then Wayne's going to talk about what we've done this year in terms of events and activities. Emma's going to talk about future plans. And then we're going to be having an election of new committee members following our call for a secretary, and also any other roles that people would be interested in contributing. It's still not too late if you'd like to put yourself forward in this meeting. You can do so. Okay, so if you'd like to do so, maybe do it in the chat if you're interested in joining the committee. It's not too late for that. And then we'll have a coffee club after that. Okay, so we're just going to have a brief introduction to each of us. So, like I said, my name's Rob. I'm at Liverpool University. I'm an EAP tutor, mainly working on in-sessional programs, and I'm the TAFSIG co-convener. Emma, you'd like to go?
Yep. Hi there. So I'm Emma, and I'm the other co-convener with Rob. I'm working as a researcher at the British Council, but my background really is also in the tertiary environment in EAP, predominantly in Hong Kong, where I spent 20 years, but also more recently in the UK. But I joined the British Council Assessment Research Group last month. Who's next?
Wayne? Sure, Wayne.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Sorry about the photo. I don't know what happened on that day, but I'm an EAP tutor at the University of Manchester, in very grey Manchester. And just to say, I mean, it's hard. This has been going for 2 years, TAFSIG, and I think we've built a really great community, actually, which is, thanks to everyone on the committee and thanks to everyone who's involved here. And I should also mention Fiona as well. Fiona, who is, let's get this right, the testing coordinator at BALIP. She was very instrumental in getting this SIG going and still puts in a lot of input. So big thank you to Fiona as well.
Joe?
Okay, yes, sorry, I can't, yeah, my camera doesn't work for whatever reason, but maybe that's good. You are being saved from this site today. My name is Joe. I'm an EAP and subject lead at the University of Bristol. I'm really enjoying basically writing curriculum. There is obviously a lot to do with assessment as well, because obviously everything has to align. So I have some input in sort of formative assessment and some summative assessment in my institution. Apart from that, so yes, curriculum design, but also we've got Bristol Institute of Teaching and Learning at Bristol, and I've recently been elected, I guess, as a built associate, and that's again to do with assessment and feedback. So I'm getting there, I think, in terms of sort of getting more focused. Obviously, I also teach, maybe not so much on pre-sessional EAP programs recently. Mostly it is now of the foundation year. It's either speaking and listening or the writing and reading kind of module. and also quite a lot of in-sessional support for UG and PG students of all disciplines basically that are being offered at Bristol. And I have been here maybe for the past 18 months or so. I think last summer, not this summer that just we just had, but summer before. Really enjoyed every single minute of it. I'm a web officer, so I'm trying to keep the web up to date with Wayne's help a little bit recently. That was really, really helpful. But also what we're trying to do sometimes is just reach out to interesting people who we think might want to write a blog or maybe do a podcast with us. So we had this recent event following up the podcast with John MacArthur, who was talking about assessment for social justice, for example. So if you have anything in mind, if you would like to do a podcast with us or interview or write a little blog or a bigger blog, just please get in touch. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Joe. And Sam, I think you're with us now. Yeah. Oh, we can't hear you, Sam, I think.
Very well. Hello?
No, still can't hear you.
How's that? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I've got like 4 microphones apparently on this computer. It's just about finding the right one. No, so yeah, sorry I was a bit late. I had to just run back from class. I'm in my office for the first time in ages, which feels strange and lovely. I'm in my office in Nottingham, so I'm based in Nottingham Trent University, where I work on our pre-sessional course, in charge of the materials and the assessments, and also on our MA programs here. And I guess my interest in assessment is partly related to the pre-sessional course and how I have to design the assessments there and evaluate them and all those types of things. But also I'm interested in constructive alignment and course evaluation and how we can use assessment to better ensure constructive alignment. And Wayne was apologising for his picture. My picture here, I think it looks like I've got an arrow pointing to my head. It is in fact the cushion behind me, which hasn't been blurred out. It looks very odd. But anyway, let's move past that. Hi, everyone.
Thanks, Sam. Okay, so that's our current committee. Let me see. There we go. So I'm just going to update on membership. Now, membership of the SIG is a bit of a weird one. How do we define membership? And we've got a few kind of measures of that. We've got the TAFSIG mailing list. So currently we've got 76 members on the mailing list. Last year we had 69, so it's not actually been that big a growth in terms of people who've joined the mailing list. It's quite broadly represented across UK universities, and we've also got individual people from these countries, but it's still very much majority kind of UK membership, which we'd love to grow. We'd love to kind of expand that. So if you're not on the TAFSIG mailing list, please join. You can get in touch with us and ask us to add you to the mailing list. That's probably the easiest thing to do. And also, if you've got colleagues who are interested, please share it with them, and let's try to build a community on that mailing list. We've got representations on that mailing list from 4 different testing organisations. So we've got BAL, UCALTA, the Assessment Research Group, which is what Emma now works, and Trinity Assessment as well. Maybe more that I'm not aware of. Another way that I was thinking of kind of looking at our membership is in terms of our Twitter followers, which you can see we've got 251 at the moment. That's been growing quite a lot recently. So if we can get those 251 followers to all join us on the mailing list, that'd be fantastic. Okay, so that's the membership. I think I'm going to hand over to Wayne now, who's going to talk us through the activities.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Rob. I mean, I think you can see that we have been very active since we started, and that's a selection of things that have been going over last year. I was going to say despite the pandemic, but perhaps because of the pandemic, because obviously people can come along to events now all over the world and we don't need to travel anywhere. We've been discussing this as a committee, but I think there's still an appetite for face-to-face events, so look out for those. The webinars, though, they've kind of grown organically, from proposals from people, from the initiative of the committee. But if you have any ideas of things that you want to put on, especially if you're interested yourself in doing it, please get in touch, and we'd love to work with you, really. because our scope is very wide. And we've also worked with, as you can see from the recent World Cafe event, we're working with other SIGs as well into areas that perhaps are more nuanced. The regular things we have, the blog post, which Joe spoke about, we'd love to hear from you. It could be quite anecdotal, or it could be empirical. But really we want to get voices from people working on the ground with the issues about assessment. Perhaps more on the feedback side as well, actually, because of the TAF, perhaps the feedback thing is something which doesn't come out so much. So it'd be great to hear more about feedback. The coffee clubs, I'm not sure how many we've had, but we've regularly had them kind of every month. And the original idea was for them to be informal. So they're not like, they've not got an agenda. They've had themes, but the idea is people just come together and talk. And the one, I think I've been to most of them, actually, and that's what just happens. People get together in breakout rooms and they usually talk. I think there's a limit on Zoom to actually how long a breakout room can be, but we've actually gone past that limit and we've been chucked out of Zoom. So it's great to have that opportunity, really. So I think the coffee clubs have been very successful, actually. I say we're doing this based on surveys of the membership and what people need. So this is the past. Rob's going to be talking about the future, but I do think that we've done well in putting on events which people actually want, and attendance, because of the online format. And despite the difficulties of getting everyone together, you can look at. The membership is international. We've got people in different time zones. We have fulfilled our mission, really, of bringing people together. Okay, so Rob's going to be talking, I think, about future events.
Cheers, Wayne. I think Emma's actually going to be doing that. There we go.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Rob. Thanks, Wayne. So really just following on from what Wayne has said. So some of the things he's mentioned obviously are carrying on. So the coffee club tends to be every other month these days, because what we're trying to do is to have a webinar one month and then a coffee club the next month, although obviously it doesn't always work with holidays and those kind of things, but that's what we're sort of aiming for. Coffee clubs have been really successful. As Wayne said, it's just a place for us to get together and chat. Usually at the beginning of a session, we ask the participants who are there if there's something that somebody would like to chat about in each of the discussion rooms, and we tend to go off and have a few different topics ongoing. So that's been a really good forum for sharing. The webinars, I think Wayne showed you the past ones that we've had. They're all available on our website, so if you want to catch up on some of those, do go and have a look. Joe's really good at updating the website, so everything's there. We do have another one scheduled. Actually, it's myself and an ex-colleague, Helena Stakunis, and we're going to be sharing some of the research that we did. It was a Barleap commissioned research onto the effects of COVID on EAP, but we're just going to share the part of the research that relates to assessment. And then hopefully that'll be quite a short presentation. We'll have like another 20 minutes or so during that for you to go away and kind of share what you've been doing and chat about some of the ideas that that came up in our research as well. So that's on November the 12th. We will be sending out a link for you to sign up, I guess, at some point over the next, I don't know, few weeks or something. I guess Sam will be responsible for that. Here we've got the blogs. Again, you can see some of the past ones on our website, but if you do have something to share, it'd be great. You know, if you want, just reach out to us. Happy to see what people have got really and get that up there. So action research or something that you've been doing in your place of work, or a piece of research that you're doing as a part of your master's or PhD that you'd like to share, that would be fantastic. I'll tell you briefly about the RES test, and I think Rob is better placed to talk about the piloting network. So the Barleap research and publication officers are trying to work with the SIGs to jointly organise some RES test events, and so we are planning something for March next year. And again, this is another forum where you can share what you're doing in your place. And I think Sam is going to be taking care of that. So he will probably reach out. Sam, shall I let you say more about that?
No, I'm just very briefly saying that if people have projects they'd like to discuss and ideas for projects that other people can do, so like maybe you're kind of exampling the kinds of assessment related projects that people can do, I'd love to hear from you. I'll send out an email later this month about that, so keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, thanks, Sam. Oh, actually, I missed one. I didn't realize I had all your little the little videos at the bottom. So we're organizing an event in January the 21st, jointly with the Listening SIG. I think we've sent you a save the date already. That actually came from Niamh Mullen, who is the convener of the Listening SIG. We have a couple of speakers lined up to do plenaries on that day, and then we'll be having some time to discuss as well. The themes that we're using for that event are the ones which came up when we surveyed our members and when the Listening SIG also surveyed their members. So we're kind of trying to respond to, you know, people's sort of interests from those surveys. And then the last one to talk about is the piloting network. This was Rob's initiative, so I'll let him say more about that.
Thanks, Emma. Yeah, just briefly, I mean, you may have seen the emails, but in short, this is some work that I've been doing with Eddie Cowling at York. I'd say it's more his initiative than mine. But it's the idea is that we're trying to connect people across centres, across countries as well, to pilot, to give them opportunities to pilot their tests. I think I was chatting with Elif about this just before we started the talk today, and it seems like that's something again that came from our survey, that people find they want to do this kind of research and connection with each other, but it's just hard arranging it and actually organising it. So hopefully this pilot network is a way of kind of connecting people up to do that. I was just wondering, maybe because I'm presenting now, I can't do that, but maybe Joe, would you be able to share the link to the piloting network page in the chat? Because if you don't know about it, there's more information there. And if you're interested, you can register. You can just register your interest in doing that. Okay, that was everything, right, Emma?
I think that's all, yeah.
Okay, fantastic.
Actually,
Thanks,
one thing we didn't say was also, I mean, we mentioned the blogs, but if you're interested in giving a webinar, if you've, you know, got something you'd like to present to share with the members, they're really flexible. It doesn't have to be kind of a whole kind of 50-minute, 45-minute thing. 20 minutes is fine with a bit of time for discussion afterwards, but feel free to reach out, and you know, it doesn't have to be something that's extremely refined and professional. I think, you know, we're happy with kind of works in progress, or just, you know, anything that you'd like to share. It's a good forum for that.
Okay, fantastic. Thanks, Emma. Okay, so last thing. Oh, I shouldn't have. I need to change that slide. Okay, so we've had two people who've nominated themselves for committee roles. So Eddie Cowling, who I mentioned before, I've been working with on the pilot testing network, has put himself forward for to be a special projects officer. So that would be overseeing various special projects that we do. And Paul Dickinson has put himself forward as secretary. Now, unfortunately, neither Paul nor Eddie could make it today. They send their apologies. But I think what we need in order to move them onto the committee is somebody to second each person. So would anybody like to second Eddie Cowling?
Yeah, I'm happy to do that.
Great, fantastic. Thanks, Sam. And would anybody like to second Paul Dickinson?
Sure, I can.
Fantastic. Thanks, Emma. Okay, so Eddie and Paul have now been officially elected to the TAFSIG committee. Congratulations, Eddie and Paul, in absentia. Okay, so I think that's it. That's it for for our AGM. We do have I just wanted to have, I think we had a slide for questions, suggestions, or comments before we move into Coffee Club. If anyone did have anything they wanted to ask, suggest, or comment.
Rob, just to point out that if people who are attending today want to join the committee, there'll be an opportunity next year as well for other roles as well. So we can talk about that nearer the time.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I think that definitely silence suggests maybe we should move on to the coffee club.